And so over here we have all the ingredients for udon noodles for curry udon, and it's like flour, and so this is the flour for udon noodles, and then flour for udon noodles like is a like kind of lower, has like lower protein content, like 8 to 9%, like compared to ramen flour, which is like 10 to like 13% in protein content. So it's gonna dump this in the mixer first. And yeah, for those of you like meeting this machine for the first time, like this machine called like Shinuchi machine. It's an all-in-one noodle machine that's designed to do udon noodles, and that's a mixer. And so what she's started doing over here is that like she's uh, melting, dissolving all this salt um, with the water, and it's a lot of salt that we add to the flour to make udon. And yeah, so it's like we are making like kind of like water, kind of salt water that's yeah, that's like 12, like that's like 12% to like 15% on a salinity level. So that's a lot of water actually. That's way saltier than the water, seawater definitely. And then this is a vinegar. Um, so we put vinegar as well to um, to control the pH level of the dough. And for those of you who are concerned about the taste being like too um, sour from the vinegar, like you don't have to worry about it, because once you cook the noodles, most of the vinegar is like going to the cooking water, so you won't taste. So the mixing time is 5 minutes, but we hate wasting. We hate to waste your time, like just only for like mix 5 minutes. So like maybe we made this dough in advance. So this dough has gone through the 5 minutes of mixing and 2 hours of resting time at 28 degrees Celsius. So that's what we call like first aging. And so this dough is now up for the pressing process. So pressing process. So basically, we are kind of working this dough, much like working muscle, working out your muscle. We are working this dough to, well, basically, well, yeah, make it stronger, like make it firm. And so there's a gluten, right? Gluten inside dough, and we're working this gluten to, well, to be stronger, firmer. And so this is a press machine, and so the press that is like going up, right, and then gets the dough gets pushed at the top, right, pushed at the top, and so like really so much pressure like applied, right, in the dough, right, and the coming down, and so this press machine basically mimics the um, old kind of like old way of like working the dough. And like on old days, like people actually would like step on it, right, step on the dough to yeah, do the same thing, like just walk the dough. And yeah, by using like their own weight, right. But nowadays, I mean, that's a lot of work. That's actually hard work. Like you have to like step on it, like almost like for an hour or something, like for this batch of dough, right? And it, it yeah, it may look easy, but like it's actually a tough job. Like you'll be sweating by the end of it. So this press machine like makes it really easier. Then all you have to do is just press it for 3 to 5 times. So that's way faster, way easier than yeah, traditional way of like foot stepping. Yeah, so like as you can see, the dough is like coming together, right? And then maybe you'll see that like it's the surface getting smoother, right? And then it's going for the third press. It's going for the third press, and it's coming down. Sure. Like notice like she's folding it inwards, right? And so that's like she's doing that like to make sure that like all the areas, right? All the areas of that dough gets the kind of same amount of pressure, gets worked up, and that's a up button. And okay, so on the mixer side, um, yeah, it's like 4 minutes passed, and so she's supposed to like clean inside and like restart the mixer with the rest of the water for 1 more minute. So the total mixing time is just 5 minutes, and so that's the dough like that's going to like 4 times of the press, right? And notice that like she's doing the mixing, right? Mixing and then press machine like at the same time, right? So you can do these processes simultaneously, and I guess they're the motors are separate, and she's actually dividing the dough into pieces, right? She's doing that now because she wants to make sure that like she wouldn't have like well um, piece that's like too big for her to be able to like sort of like sheet it next day. Um, so she's like kind of dividing the dough into the piece that's like kind of small enough for her to be able to like do that kind of sheeting like kind of efficiently. And see that like layers, right? Layers. So that's how many times like gets folded and layered. So and that's kind of secret of like good udon texture as well. Like, and yeah, the number of layers like kind of tell you like tells you that how viscoelastic this dough is. And so these pieces of dough are going to the second aging process, second resting process. So in udon making, like we do the resting process like twice, 2 stages of the resting to make sure that we're gonna have like really good textured dough. Okay, so that's overnight, and I'm sure you guys don't want to wait till tomorrow. So maybe we made this dough like in advance yesterday, right? And so that's a dough like she made yesterday, and so now she's going to sheet it and cut it. So I do have to, well, add a lot of like, well, dusting powder, which is actually, well, exactly the same flour that she made, used to like make this dough, but um, well, just to like kind of make sure that like it's not gonna stick, right? Yeah, so thank you for asking questions. So like the second resting process, like we do the uh, 18 degrees Celsius, 18 degrees Celsius overnight. Yeah. So overnight means it's about like 16 hours. Um, and then so basically the higher the temperature, the less shorter resting time. Like if you like make it too high, then you may will spoil the dough. So it's not good. And notice like she's sheeting the dough like kind of like gradually thinner, right? Every round of like sheeting, like well, the dough is getting like thinner and thinner gradually, not like drastically. And so that's to ensure the we're not damaging the gluten structure inside this dough. Sheeting, and then um, so from this point on, like you guys may have like notice that like, well, the display, right? The number, the display is changing, right? And so that's actually a thickness of dough that's being sheeted. And so there's a sensor that um, measures the thickness of dough. Um, yeah, there's like a red like laser beam like that's like hitting the dough to measure the thickness, right? So so you kind of know like how thick or how thin the dough is like getting, right? And um, so you kind of like you have like sort of like indication that like okay, like the dough is like getting closer to the final thickness before we cut it, right? So this is a good, yeah, it's a very useful feature that this machine has. And let's see, so that's 5.7 millimeter, but like she doubled the dough, so 5.6 or yeah, it's like 6 point. You have to like, yeah, 6.1. Like you have to divide it by 2, so that's like 3.05 millimeter thickness. So yeah, let's make the final thickness 3 millimeter, and yeah, let's cut it, right? So the width is determined by the this cutting, right? So and so basically we cut it, right? Well, bigger than the thickness. So usually like if it's like 3 millimeter, we cut it like to the width of like that's kind of 1.8 times bigger than the width, the thickness. So we are aiming to like around like 4.8 to like 5.0. So you can adjust the width, right? You can adjust width with this machine like pretty easily. So noodles are getting cut. I mean, the dough is getting cut into noodles, and there's a tray that's moving like underneath this work table, and that's where the noodles are, and yeah, so that tray is like kind of collecting the noodles that are kind of being dropped from the conveyor above, right? And then so it's not gonna be like the noodles like kind of well collected like in the one place, like kind of there's a mountain of like noodles like in the southern spot or something. That's you know it's not good. So we have all these noodles has like lined up nicely when you pull out the tray, and kind of making it easier to for you to be able like kind of pick them up and like yeah, put them away for cooking, or if you're not serving the noodles like right away, um, yeah, dust them well and then like put them away for kind of temporary storage. So yeah, that's yeah. So like these are beautiful udon noodles for curry udon noodles. They're beautiful. Okay, so let's bring them to the kitchen and yeah, see what we have, kind of curry udon we have for today's class. So this is our kitchen, and um, yeah, normally we have like our ramen school, ramen class like yeah, udon school, even like soba school here, and then we have exactly the same facility in Tokyo. But like because of situation with COVID, like it's kind of be hard for us to like have like conduct any classes over there. But like yeah, we've been doing some classes over here from time to time, like when we have like enough students. But under the current situation, like with COVID, like it's very hard for like people to move around. So especially from overseas. But we have like Miss Sano, instructor at our Yamato Ramen Noodle School, and we're lucky to have her like kind of well show us what she got. So thank you. Okay. All right. So let's start with the noodles. Okay, so these are the like noodles. Actually, these are the noodles we made. Like yeah, especially yellow. These are actually noodles that have like some like curry powder kneading. And so we have like two types of noodles for our curry udon. Okay, so I'm gonna cook the first like regular udon noodles first, right? So when we are cooking noodles, like, you have to have like all this cooking water, like kind of rolling, boiling like this, right? Before you put noodles in. So I'm making the hot soup udon today, right? So like I'm gonna cook it for 9 minutes. Okay, so after we put the noodles in, right, and then so when we put noodles in, the temperature drops, and sometimes, yeah, sometimes drops to the point like where it's not boiling anymore. But like after like you get that boiling going, right, and then we want to like kind of reduce the heat. Yeah, so like normally, I let them swim for like 3 minutes before I catch them on the net. But I'm cooking like another batch, so I'm just gonna catch them the net and just let it sit like that.
はい、で、またしっかり沸かしてあげて、違う麺入れます。
Okay, yeah, because I'm like cooking the another batch, right? So let's turn it up and yeah, bring it to boil.
で、ここが入ったら
Yeah, so that's the curry powder needed udon noodles.
こう入れましょうか。量が。
Okay, so what I'm doing is that like to make sure the noodles are gonna come to surface as fast as possible. So like kind of by stirring them, so it's like kind of like getting all these noodles kind of warmed up as fast as I can, and so that they started like kind of swimming around and kind of coming to the surface of the water.
こちらちょっと早いですけど、できます。
Yeah, but it's a bit early to like to catch them in the net, but like yeah, just to save you guys time, like yeah, I'm just gonna catch them in the net. Okay, so it takes 9 minutes, and so I cook them in advance. So these are the cooked version.
今回こちらを使って盛り付けしていきたいと思います。
Okay, so I'm gonna use them to start like topping, like plating.
2種類作ります。
So I'm gonna make like two types of like curry udon today.
カレールーも2種類今回用意してます。
So I made like two types of curry sauce.
2種類の違いなんですけど、粘度の違いで、こっちが片一方がサラサラで、もう片一方がちょっとドロッとした。
So basically the difference is like one is like viscous, or like the other one is like kind of loose and kind of more like watery.
ちょっと火にかけてあげてみます。はい。じゃあ盛り付けます。
Okay, so let's start plating. Okay, so let's do with let's first like start with curry powder like kneaded noodles first, and because it's a hot soup, curry udon.
なんですけど、温かいおうどんになるので、温めます。
Yeah, so I should warm it up, and then yeah, notice like she's also applying this cooking water into the bowl, right? Why she's doing that is like she's actually warming the bowl at the same time. Like that's really efficient.
で、さっき温めたソースかけます。
Okay, so I'm gonna add the kind of watery version, like loose version of the curry sauce. Yeah, it's almost like a soup, right?
はい。で、この上にトッピング乗せていきます。
Okay, so I'm gonna plate the toppings.
真ん中に白いネギを置きます。
Yeah, I'm gonna place these chopped up leeks in the center.
立体的に見えるようにバターを出していきます。
Yeah, so the technique, like the key to the like great like plating is that like you have to well some add like some dimension to it, like so yeah, so it's like a construction of like kind of blocks, a structure sort of so to speak.
揚げ
Yeah, so that's the deep fried. Yeah, deep fried kind of like mushroom that we have, and the pumpkin, sliced pumpkin, right? And eggplant. All these ingredients, like all these tops, are like deep fried. Okay. Yeah. What type of curry is that? Like, is it Java curry or yeah? So I'm gonna. サムさんこれってどんな種類のカレーですか？あの、ジャバカレーだったりとか、なんかその、どういう
カレー粉を使ったカレ
市販のカレー？
ー。カレーの粉と玉ねぎをちょっと炒めてあげて、
おー、はい。
で、だしで伸ばした感じ。
Oh, dashi. Okay. So, so she explains that like, so she first like, chopped up onions and then like stir fry them like and until like they become brown, right? And then she added like curry powder, like curry powder. That's basically kind of curry powder like you maybe able like find at supermarket, right? And then so she added like the dashi stock to it. So that's what this is basically. All right, so that's done. Nicely plated. Okay, another bowl. Okay, so for the other one, like I'm gonna use it like kind of regular curry udon noodles. Okay, so for noodles, right, I want to so like kind of place that noodles like kind of nicely, kind of combed, um, yeah, combed well. So like I'm not gonna warm it, like, you know.
カレールーなんですけど、カレーうどんというか、カレーライスみたいにちょっと取り付けます。
Okay, so for this one, yeah, so this is a kind of cold udon noodles, but like, so I'm gonna warm the curry sauce like an extra hot, and then kind of plate it like kind of like curry rice.
ルーを温めて、かけます。ちょうど今、茹でてる麺が鳴りました。
Okay, so I heard the alarm for the noodles, so I'm gonna. Okay, so for udon noodles, right? For those of you like going, just like we have to wash them. You have to wash them because there's a lot of like starch that are coming out of like noodles, right? And it's kind of slimy, kind of like thing that's yeah, the that's a starch, and some people don't like it, so they have to wash them first, like right out of the noodle cooker, and you have like two sinks, right? Two double sink, and the first thing like you wash them, right, and then like second sink like you actually chill them with the cold water, or like even like some ice is like in the summer.
こんな感じで、一玉ごとに取り分けていきます。
And so like that, like you have to, that's why you actually portion it. So you portion noodles like that, kind of like, unlike the ramen.
はい。で、カレー粉が練り込まれている生地は、もう少しあと2分くらい茹でるので、まだ置いておきます。
For noodles that have like curry powder like needed in them, we have to cook them like 2 more minutes. So I'm just gonna leave them like that. And so over here,
はい。で、盛り付け戻りますね。
so back to plating.
で、今回はカツを
So that's tonkatsu. That's well, basically pork meat, slab pork meat with the the breadcrumbs and deep fried, covered like with breadcrumb like deep fried, and that's kind of famous. Kind of it's like Japanese cuisine. And then we have sweet potatoes. That's deep fried again. Well, eggplant deep fried.
揚げたさつまいもとナスを交互に
Yeah, so it's like kind of like making like a layers of like kind of eggplant and like sweet potatoes and then broccoli and a mini tomato to add color. Okay, so that's done, and so it's a it's a cat's curry. Yeah, so it's a very famous, like kind of very popular type of dish that like I don't know, maybe like 50% of people like who visit like curry specialty shop like order cat's curry maybe. So that's how popular that is.
完成になります。ありがとうございまし
Okay,
た。
so that's if from me. So thank you.